Once again, time to talk soccer. Energy FC Weekly Headlight. Dave Morris alongside the coach Steve Cook. We have defender Richard Dixon joining us this week. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us, Dave.
Lots to get into this week. A World Cup recap, a wild win over Vegas for Energy FC last week, a record-setting win. We may talk some food as well with these gentlemen before we end the segment here. Coach, a big dramatic win though over the Las Vegas Lights in your last outing, 6-4.
Yeah, I said straight after the game, it's one of the crazier games I've ever been involved in, and you don't see many games that end with 10 goals and one team gets 6 of them. So it was a good win. I think we made life a little bit more difficult than it could have been in the second half for ourselves. We were really flying and got off to a 4-1, and I thought we were going to go on and win the game comfortably. But unfortunately for us, they had a player who took on a real fire that moment, and he got a hat-trick. So sometimes you have to deal with somebody who just strikes at the right time. But credit to the players, they really did a great job, stuck in the game and won the game. I think it was comfortable in the end in terms of style of play, but would have probably liked it to have been 6-1, not 6-4.
Richard, as a defender on this team, what were your thoughts in this game?
Yeah, like you said, it was a pretty crazy one. You know, I came in the last 20 minutes, I believe it was 4-3, and didn't expect us to score 2 more goals, you know, to put it at, 6-4 to end the game. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was a good performance by the group. I think, you know, just showing that we can execute and we can finish. I think we've been missing some of that throughout the season. And you know, being a defender, I don't score many goals, so it's always good to get in on a few celebrations.
Alex Dixon, a couple goals and an assist. Good night for him.
Yeah, he's had a good run of form this last month. He's been really catching fire, and not only is he scoring goals, but he's helping others score goals as well. And even if he's not directly in the plays, he's been really good this last several weeks of just stretching the game a little bit and opening spaces for other players. So long may that continue. It's always good to have a lot of players who are in form in terms of scoring goals. And as Richard said, there's been many a game this season where we'd have wished we could have scored a couple more goals, and this game it all just clicked, and to be honest, we probably could have had more than the 6.
It was a 6-4 decision over Las Vegas last week on ESPN News. What was it like playing against any opponent, but on a nationwide audience like that?
I mean, yeah, obviously every game is a big game for us, you know, especially at this point of the season. You know, just hit halfway point, so it's good for us now to pick up, you know, momentum leading into the back end of the season to make the playoff push. But as far as, you know, playing on the nationwide scene, it's always good for us, you know, to go out there and showcase our skills, not to just friends and families, but to everybody all around the country.
I saw a name on the Las Vegas roster I hadn't heard of in quite a while, Freddie Adu. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's probably one of the most travelled players in world football, I would imagine, at the moment.
How old might he be at this point?
I would only guess at how old. I think he's probably 30 years old now. Is he 28 years old?
I would have thought upper 20s, 30. I mean, yeah, it seems like his name's been in the headlines for a while.
Yeah, and obviously Freddie, I remember watching him as a young player, and when he burst on the scene, he looked like he was going to be not only a very good player, but he was going to be a very good national team player for quite a while. But obviously everyone's career takes a different turn. He's been all over the world. He's been prepared to take his career to all different corners of the earth, which I have a lot of respect for. And to still be going and still competing at this level and working hard to be the best player he can possibly be is credit to him. And we're glad that he had a disappointing evening on last week. But Freddie, you know, I have every admiration for a player who still wants to compete and still wants to apply their trade at the best possible level as they can at this age.
As a player, do you ever eye the players on the other rosters? And granted, you know all these guys, but do you ever, hey, that guy's on this team now? I
mean, yeah, it's just naturally you do. You know, it's just something deep within us. We want to know who we're up against, you know, coming on the weekend. But yeah, like Coach said, you know, much respect to Freddie. You know, he's done a lot in his career, and lucky for us, you know, he didn't have a good of a night, you know, as we think he could have. So that's always good. But yeah, much respect to Freddie and the rest of the team. But you know, you come to OKC, we're always expecting to take 3 points from whoever comes here.
Energy FC over the last 6 decisions, 4-0-2. Things are going well there, and then 10 days off. What did that mean for you and the club?
Yeah, these breaks, you know, they're a bit of a coach's nightmare because you never know what's quite going on, you know. And the guys persuaded me to give them the weekend off, which was great. And I think the players should take that ownership and should take that responsibility, not only for what they do every day in training and how they work, but also how they live their lives away from the game as well. And I think it's wonderful for the players to recharge physically, but as much as anything, get their minds in the right place and get away from each other, get away from football, and have a great mental break as well. And Saturday and Sunday, it certainly afforded us the opportunity to go do what every individual wants to do with their lives for a couple of days and have a great time. Certainly for me, it was a wonderful couple of days break. So, and again, more importantly, they came back to work on Monday and absolutely worked to the max, had a brilliant training session Monday, Tuesday as well. And so it's a great group of professionals that I'm fortunate to work with, and they showed me once again why you have to put a lot of faith and trust in players, because they know exactly where they want to go, and they want to search for the best possible scenario for themselves. So it's great work with the players, and but now back to business.
I guess that can be kind of a growing area and a learning area as well, to see, hey, how are the guys adapting during the days off, you know?
Yeah, it's important. I think as a professional player, you have a lot of time to do whatever it is you want to do, and obviously when you go to work early in the morning, you train hard, and then the afternoons, if you're not careful, those hours can ruin the great work you put in the mornings. And sometimes I think as coaches we fear that, but I'm a believer in putting the trust in the players. They really have shown me all the way through the season that no matter what the scenario, they have worked hard, they have put the right time in, they're very, very professional at all times. And even when things weren't going in our favour in terms of results, they came to work positive and professional and did a great job. So more power to the players. I think they deserve the results that are coming. I think they deserve any accolades that are coming their way, because I know exactly how hard they work every single day.
So Richard, you guys had the weekend off, World Cup finals. France gets the win there. What did the guys do? Did anybody get together, watch the World Cup, or everybody just kind of go their own way?
Yeah, it was a tricky weekend. You know, obviously coming off of you know, 3 games in 7 days, it was, you know, difficult, just tough on the body. So I think a lot of guys, you know, did the right thing, just kind of took off on their own, and you know, spend time with friends and family, and you know, just watch the game. Some guys watched it together, other guys watch it with their families, other guys with friends and stuff like that. But it was just, it's been such a crazy World Cup that, you know, I feel like nobody went into the game expecting anything, you know, just hoping to see a good game, and it was. So yeah, it's been good. Good month of football.
A little bit of analysis last week as the World Cup was going on. Your thoughts on the final?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think everybody seemed to have a soft spot for Croatia, and looking at their journey as a nation and as a team, I think everyone had a bit of a moment where they would have probably hoped for that team to win, and maybe people would have thought they were the underdogs. But I think France, certainly throughout the tournament, have been very consistent and very steady and stable right the way through. I was fortunate a couple of years ago to spend a couple of years doing a course in France, and so I know some of the guys relatively well, and I can tell you the amount of work that they put in, and the professionalism and attention to detail, and the way they approach not only the game but the tournament itself, and that span of games is incredibly professional. And I think when you look at their team and you look at how many great players they do have, and the age of them and how young they are, I guess we'll measure that team, you know, from where they go from here, as opposed to what they've just done in the last month. But over the last month, I think there was probably nobody would argue that they didn't absolutely deserve that championship.
If you look back at last week's episode here on Energy FC, our weekly update, we had the laptop going, we had the match in progress, but the whole time, Coach is looking over here at the match, breaking it down. There's dissecting going on, and as soon as we ended, he was like, yeah, they should have done that or that. I saw this developing. Richard, are you the same way when you watch a match on TV, constantly analyzing it in a different way that I'm just basically watching the ball?
Right, yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, a game at that level for any player is a chance to learn. And, you know, whether it be the World Cup or, you know, the European Championship, the EPL or La Liga, you know, watching those games, I always try to go as a student. Because at the end of the day, those guys are doing it at the highest level, you know, and as much as we all like to get there, we may not get there, but we can definitely learn something along the way. So that's how I approach watching games, you know, just taking advice from old coaches growing up.
Richard Dixon's been with the Energy FC for a couple seasons now. One of the one of the cool things that Energy FC does is a program called Sidekicks, where players and the team pairs up with those from Autism Oklahoma, Down Syndrome Association of Oklahoma, Top Soccer and Special Olympics Oklahoma. Kind of pairs up and provides a special experience, and one of those is tonight, I understand.
It is, and I've been pretty vocal about this. I think it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my career that a club does for a community, and the players put a great deal of time and effort into not only working on these several nights that we have, but in days off, sometimes they go round and spend time with families. And it's a program that I think as professionals we're very fortunate to be doing what we do for a living every single day, and we're very lucky to be able to be blessed with not only the talent to be able to do it, but we have a lot of great things happen to us in our lives and travel the world and have a wonderful time. And it's great to be able to give something back to people who have challenges and have some difficulties in life, and families that really appreciate the fact that these wonderful players and professional athletes are spending time with their children. And for us, I think we get back a lot more than we give. It's a great thing for us to be involved in, and long may it continue, because it really is testament to the work that the players do with those young people, that it just puts a smile on everybody's faces. It's some of the best things I think that we do throughout the year.
And Richard, I'll let you provide a player's perspective, but as Coach mentioned, you're one of those players who takes it beyond just the events, and there's more to it.
Right, yeah, and I mean, it's a great program, that the team puts on, just giving us a chance to go out there and, get involved in the community and, just connecting with the kids and loving on the kids. But for me, last year was my first, obviously my first season here and my first experience with the Sidekick program, and, I took away so many great lessons from it, just, putting myself out there and getting closer with my sidekick Sheldon last year. Just seeing her, come into the games and, her excitement and, her willingness to help others and stuff like that, it just motivates me, just to do more. Whether it be, going, hanging out with her, or, going to a dinner, or, just connecting with the family and take it beyond just, hanging out at an event and so on and so forth. And I feel like it's a great deal for the kids and also for us, just given the platform that we have as professional athletes to go out there and have an impact on, on anybody's life. So yeah, it's been a great program. It's been a great experience for me so far.
Good stuff. You are from Jamaica.
Yes.
And I alluded to this off the top of the segment. We were talking food before we got going here. You cook.
Yes.
What might you cook for dinner?
I tried to cook a little bit of everything. I eat a lot of rice. For dinner, I try to cook up some veggies, some rice, and depending on what kind of meat it is. But I like a lot of spice, a lot of spicy food. So whenever somebody comes around, just expect spicy. I like it zesty. So yeah.
I like some spicy food.
Yeah.
The spicier the better. I'm a big foodie myself. I love to go out and eat, and I think it's some of the best times away from the game that I spend is with friends and family and just having a great time, and usually that involves food, and it involves spending countless hours just chatting to each other and getting to know each other that little bit better. And I've been really impressed with Oklahoma City in my time here, is that I think the food service industry is fantastic, and I've been to some great restaurants and always very welcoming, and I'm just glad to see that in Oklahoma City I can pursue one of my passions, which is eating a lot.
I'm with you on that. One last question for you, Richard. Do you get back to Jamaica often?
Yeah, I try to go back every off season. Sometimes, for a couple weeks, sometimes for a couple months. But I do have family in Florida and in Jamaica as well, so I have to, try to keep everybody happy. So I spend equal time in both places.
Very good. He's Richard Dixon, defender with Energy FC, back in action this Saturday, I believe, against Sacramento. Your thoughts on that match?
Yeah, Sacramento are having a very good season. They're a very consistent team. I think when you go there, you can expect a big crowd and a raucous crowd, and it's a great environment to go play in. I think with us at the moment, we're obviously on a good moment, but I think the challenge of every game is new, and I think it's important that we stay humble and hard-working, make certain that we prepare as best we can for this game, knowing that I think Sacramento are probably one of the better teams in the league, and certainly at home they have the power to hurt you. But I think also we have some players with some real ability to hurt them as well, and we'll be going there looking to win the game and making sure that we represent ourselves in the right way.
It's on the road this Saturday at Sacramento. 2 home games coming up next week, or at least July 25th and July 28th. The 25th against Fresno. That is a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. More ticket information and other event information can be found right there on that website, energyfc.com. Coach, best of luck moving forward this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your time. And Richard, I've enjoyed the conversation. Very nice to meet you, sir.
Of course. Pleased to meet you as well. Thanks for having me.
You bet.